That's right.
All set?
Yes, sir.
All right. Soup, you ready? All right. Board trustees, good evening. Welcome to the regular board meeting for the Pontiac School District. Mr. Secretary,
Your time?
6:14. Roll call, please, sir.
Yes, sir. VP Bowman,
Present.
Trustee Kraft,
Present.
Treasurer David Smith, President Garrett.
Present.
I'm here, Trustee Hannah
Present.
and Trustee Terry.
Present.
And sir, you have a quorum.
All right. Awesome. Thank you. Can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Thank you. Need a motion on the floor to approve the agenda.
So move.
So moved by Trustee Bowman, supported by Trustee David Smith. Questions, comments, or concerns to that motion? Hearing none. Roll call, Mr. Secretary.
Yes, sir. Trustee Kraft,
Yes.
Treasurer David Smith,
Yes.
President Garrett.
Yes.
I'm voting yes. Trustee Hannah,
Yes.
Trustee Terry,
Yes.
VP Bowman.
Yes.
Sir, that passed 7-0.
All right. Thank you. We're going to move down to awards and recognitions, and we're going to turn the meeting now over to the superintendent. Ms. Williams, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing great. How
All
was?
right.
Thank you so much. We are first going to start with our recognitions. We're excited about a lot of the great skill sets that our students are exhibiting, not only here in the community, but across the state, as well as going national with a lot of our efforts that our staff, administration are pursuing opportunities with the programs that are being presented to our students. And today we want to recognize a few, as we have been doing throughout our board meetings over the school year. At this time, I would like to share a media highlight that was shown on Channel 4 over the weekend, recognizing our state champions with the wrestling program. And if you can show that at this time.
All right, thank you, Brian. Pontiac High School celebrated 2 student athletes that received state titles in MHSAA wrestling.
Now, this big win deserved a big celebration. Their classmates held a school-wide pep rally for them. Our Megan Woods is live this morning to tell us how their hard work paid off. Hey, Megan.
Hey, good morning. So just a couple of weeks ago, Corey Thomas Jr. and Adam Polk were here at Ford Field competing for those state titles. Corey ended up winning first in the state. Adam ended up winning third in the state. And Pontiac High School, they could have just sent out an email or made an announcement throughout the school on the PA system, but no, they wanted to make sure that these students knew that what they did was a big deal. Take a look.
Wrestling is one of those sports that doesn't get a lot of recognition.
He was undefeated.
I think they need to be shown in front of everybody that we have a state champion.
A celebration fit for a state champ. Corey Thomas Jr. loves wrestling, and this month,
I won the MHSAA Wrestling Individual State Tournament.
his father and stepmom couldn't be prouder. Their joy for the man Corey is becoming hit a new high when they got a call about a pep rally in his honor.
We didn't expect that. We just expected a handshake and good job and that sort of thing. But to see the dance girls dancing, all of the faculty standing up and the crowd cheering my son's name, it was an awesome feeling.
It was a surprise for Corey and his teammate who also competed in the tournament.
It means a lot. It makes me feel like what I do matters for the community, and it makes me want to achieve more stuff and help more, because it feels like I really had an impact on the people in the school.
Athletic director Craig Covington and Corey's father both agree this moment marks a new era.
Corey is a 3.6 GPA student, and he's an athlete. So he's the definition of a student athlete. And I wanted all our students to know we have great kids here at Pontiac. And we're going to keep rising. Phoenix is going to rise.
To me, it was fitting. When you come to Pontiac High School, you see outside all of the construction. And so the city is really reinvesting into the next generation.
And Corey is a junior. He hopes, that he can do this again for his senior year. And he says this pep rally was motivation for that. He also wants to participate in wrestling at the college level. So we're wishing Corey and Adam all the best of luck. Reporting live, I'm Megan Woods, Local 4.
That's a pretty good motivation. All right. Thanks, Megan.
So as you can see, we are doing great things here in the Pontiac School District, and it's a monumental moment, not only because these students have made history in our district, but they also are #1 student athletes first. And so I just want to share just a little bit of information. I do want to commend the Pontiac High School administration, athletic director for putting on that pep rally. For his parents and for the students to have an opportunity to be celebrated, because it takes a village to raise our students, and we commend and thank you all for doing a job well done with your children and students. So as a token of appreciation, we would like to recognize Adam J. Polk, Oakland County champion, and I need to have Trustee Gross up here because he did an excellent job saying this. Can you please come up here and do the honors of just announcing what these students have done, and then I will present the president and I with their plaque.
You ready? All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Pontiac School District Administration Building. Tonight, we are recognizing 2 of the greatest wrestling athletes, student athletes in the history of Pontiac. I don't hear you. Now, let me introduce to you, he is the Oakland County champion, the AOAA League champion. He is the district champion, as well as the regional champion. He placed 3rd at the Michigan High School Athletic Association State Championship. He is also selected to the Michigan Grappler All Junior team. This young man goes by the name of Adam J. Polk.
I just want to thank God, thank my family, thank Pontiac School District, thank my coaches, teammates, thank my principal, thank my athletic director, and I wouldn't be able to do those things without them, so thank you.
We're good? Oh, okay. I thought we had to leave. And now, ladies and gentlemen, this young man is the Oakland County champion, the OAA League champion. He is a district champion as well as a regional champion, but he is also the Michigan High School Athletic Association state champion. He was undefeated this year and was selected as a Michigan Grappler All-American. This young man's name is state champion Corey Thomas Jr.
Like Adam said, I'd like to thank everybody that's helped me along the journey. You know, it's been a long journey. I'm happy that I got to do it in the Pontiac singlet. I'm really excited to represent Pontiac in the future. And yeah, thank you.
And just for it to be noted, both of these students athletes maintained over a 3.2 GPA. So that's recognition in itself. Not only are you athletes, but
What was this talking about, parents?
All right, coach.
Thank you. Good evening. First of all, I just want to thank everybody for allowing us to be here today. The board, Mr. Montgomery, Craig Covington, Joe Carr, Marvin Beasley. Trying to make sure I don't leave no one out. Most importantly, our superintendent, Gil Garrett over there, Kevin Gross, a lot of people in here that have much respect and have followed the wrestling team since the merger. Okay, the wrestling team and our merger has been a big transition with the deficit. And I tell people all the time, the reason why I chose to stay here in my city is because somebody got to stand up. Okay, I have good wrestlers at home. Two of the best in the state. 1 year in the finals, next year in the finals, then of course another year in the finals. Three guys in the finals, 3 years in a row. However, this is my city. You know, it's where everybody know me from. It's Hannah, grew up together. But along the way, a lot of people discouraged me. Me and Ms. Montgomery talk about it all the time. People discourage me, man, why you taking your kid? Why, you can go anywhere. You can go all these schools calling. I said, we got to stand up. Somebody got to make the stand. I told my kids, be prepared. It's going to be rough. People going to talk about you. People not going to like you because you're going to do something big. And that's just along the journey. That's what comes with the territory. So they had to scratch and fight off friends, family, just because they out there winning, or they go to Pontiac School District.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you could get Adam Polk out of here, you can get Adam Polk out of this school district, out of this city, you're going to win. I promise you. That didn't happen. Guess what we got? It's just like when you plant a tree. Plant a tree in some terrible soil, plant a tree in some good soil.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before yesterday, we got the newsletter in the house. Beautiful. What was the tree planted in? Good or bad soil?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even have to say anything to anybody read the newsletter. It was beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That
Yes,
newsletter was beautiful.
Yes, sir.
It's on my refrigerator. Yeah, the district newsletter. Did anybody see that?
Oh, yeah.
Don't fall asleep on me. We've been sleeping for a little while in Pontiac. These guys, Corey, Adam, they come up together,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So, what they have done to help invest their time into athletics, into academics, is shown from our great superintendents. So I've been knowing superintendent for a while when she was the principal, and she didn't play. She said, I need my building open on time. Okay, she's gonna call me, she's gonna call Marvin. We was there. So she was great then, she's great now. And I always said this, I'm gonna close it out. I always said this, until we figure out who's gonna be the superintendent in here for longevity, our district is gonna change. Longevity, okay? It's changing. It's changing for the best. People in the city have to wake up. Okay, not the board member, not the superintendent, not the principal at the high school. The city gotta wake up. We still in the bed. All right. Okay. And I tell Corey and Adam, and they know for a fact, I don't have to get up here and be no pretender. Our day started at 5 a.m. We jogging at 5 a.m., stretching, jogging at 5 a.m. at the high school. Thanks to Mr. Carr, thanks to Mr. Montgomery. They opened them doors up. I called Mr. Montgomery at 3:30 in the morning. Need that door open, call security, call somebody to open that door. We got a big match coming, Mr. Montgomery, make it happen. And I appreciate that. I appreciate all you. You know, my family is a long history of wrestling. Mr. Gross, no, our family is since the 60s, and we still making champions. Still. You know, that's good soil. Okay, if it's bad soil, they gotta go. My trade is I'm a manager by trade. Gotta go. Ain't working.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody in here. Especially want to thank Mr. Montgomery again. I don't have the time at the mic to say it, but this man been good to wrestling and athletics. That's why it's going like it's going. We're going to get better. Going to get better. Thank you.
Thank you.
How you doing? I want to thank you, Ms. Superintendent, for allowing us to be here. I just really appreciate everybody in the city. Like I said on the news thing, we didn't anticipate getting interviewed. We didn't anticipate any of this or the prep rally. And I do want to say I am most proud of you, son, for your grades and the way you carry yourself socially. Nothing makes me more proud and make my day when I hear a teacher say, hey, your son did this today, good, or Dr. Montgomery say you helped out around the building, or just things positive. So I really appreciate you not making me have to, straighten you out. I appreciate it. I really do. I appreciate it. So that's all. I just really, really appreciate everybody here. And just want to say thank you again. Thank you.
Awesome.
Confirmation.
Thank you. And again, thank you to the administration, Mr. Montgomery, AD Covington, Coach Carr. Without you all bringing this all together and supporting the students, we would not have been able to make this happen. So thank you so much. Next, so we have our athletes. Then we have now the arts coming back in our city. These students, we want to recognize for doing a phenomenal performance with the story tale of Annie. And so we recognized a few last board meeting, but we found out that we have 3 other students that participated in the play, and we could not go without recognizing them as well. So this certificate we would like to present to Halo Chambers in recognition of her wonderful performance in the Flagstar Strand Theater's production of Annie Jr. We are so proud of your accomplishments and cannot wait to see what you will succeed at the next level. Congratulations, Halo.
And y'all,
We have a certificate for you as well as a swag bag. Thank you for representing the Pontiac School District. And we have her father, who is also a trustee, Trustee Kraft. So would you like to say anything?
I just want to say Thank you.
You are very welcome. Would you like to say anything else? Okay. We also would like to recognize with the same, and you see some of the clippings on the screen, Shania Granberry. Is Shania in the audience today? If not, we will be mailing your certificate to you, as well as, I hope I'm saying this right, Jalea Hayton. Thank you for your participation and representing the district in Annie Jr. And we will be mailing out the certificates for these students.
Sorry, I got caught up. Whew. Comments from the board at this time.
Wow.
Trustee Gross.
One question. You guys don't want my question is. Where are you from? What school district?
Pontiac.
One more time.
Pontiac.
Last time.
Pontiac.
Thank you, sir. I'm gonna start with Trustee Kraft.
Wow. I'm overwhelmed right now. And first of all, with the young men, I like to congratulate them and let them know that they really made a mark. And this is something to be a state champion here in the city of Pontiac. This is a history thing. I can go back and name state champions like Tweety Bird McClellan back in the day and everything. Right. You know, and them guys, you know, once you, and I think he was, and then you got them Pokes. You got Adam Polk, and then you have the Logans and everything. And like I said, those names are not going to be forgotten. So, and like I said, this is an accomplishment, and kudos to the parents, to you, Adam, for keeping them here, because our kids are the best here. If we keep all our kids here, we'd be state champions all over. We can do anything. We can run on the track field. We can play football. We can play basketball. We can do it all. And we can do the robotics. I remember our robotics team. So, right. And then last but not least, I'm almost in tears.
Oh, you about to be.
But
that's okay.
You know, I'm proud of her.
Yep.
You know, and when we went out there, she was afraid, and it was her first time. And she picked up, and, you know, magic happened. So that can happen with any of our kids. And I'd like to thank everybody for supporting. And Halo, I love you.
Aww.
Trustee Terry.
Where to start? I mean, it's so much good news to hear. We got some awesome students. I mean, awesome students. Congratulations on all your accomplishments, all your championships you done. And I also want to say congratulations to the team, because I know you couldn't have done it without that team effort too. And I know they was there pushing y'all to get them championships and get all those trophies. So congratulations to the team and all of the coaches that then helped out, the community that then been by their side, that then pushed them, the coaches, the dads, the families, all of that. I just want to say congratulations to everyone. It's awesome and just wonderful news to hear. And then to go back to your play, you know, once again, awesome news as well to have that arts and those performers out there. You know, there's a lot of talented students here in Pontiac, and sometimes we miss out on those opportunities to acknowledge that. And it's just wonderful just to come to these meetings and see this type of turnout, to see this type of support, and let everybody know that Pontiac, we support each other, that we there for each other, and we're going to continue to keep pushing forward. So congratulations to all your performances. I know we had some at our last meeting. We had some more this meeting. So congratulations to all of you too. And as always, we're looking forward to those future productions. So thank you.
Madam VP.
Just you young people make me so proud, all of you. Every time I go anywhere in the world, I have on my Pontiac gear. I need wrestling gear. I need play gear. I need all of it because no matter where I go in the world, Pontiac, Michigan is on my brand. I am Pontiac. Thank you all for representing us. Thank you all for being shining lights of what a community should look like. You are. Thank you for setting the mark. Thank you for being examples for what this community is. Thank you so much. Thank you, parents. Thank you, students. You all, thank you for being and representing Pontiac to the best.
Trustee Hannah.
Yeah, thank you. Congratulations again, Corey and Adam Jr. You guys are helping us change the narrative for our district. And we are so proud of the work that you're doing outside of the classroom, but most importantly, inside of the classroom. So I thank you for your commitment. And parents, we thank you for your involvement in your students' life, because this is what it looks like when you are involved. This is what it looks like when you care enough, whether it's 5 o'clock in the morning, making sure your child is there, just when you are just as vested in them, in their extracurricular activities, but most importantly in their classroom. So we salute you, Adam. And so I'm so happy to see you in the work that you're doing. We graduated from high school together. We are a part of this district. And to see him, another Husky, giving back to the district that we were raised in, it just does me proud just to know that we're here because we care about our district and our community that much. So thank you for what you do. And thank you, Halo, for what you did too.
Trustee David Smith. I'm nothing. I didn't say nothing. Got a room full of people. Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. Actually, my trustees said it all, but I'm very proud of all of our students who have had achieved this great honor. Again, I am excited not only because you guys excelled in wrestling, but also because of how you kept your academics up. Also, like Trustee Kraft said, I believe if we keep our children in our own city, in our own district, we will excel. We were away at a conference, and there was a gentleman who knows about Pontiac history and said the same thing. He was like, "Oh, you guys are still excelling in sports." I didn't say anything because the narrative changed, because our students are being taken out of our district and going to different places. Another thing is, the reason I got on the board was because I'm a parent, and I need our parents to be more involved in our students' education. That is the only way that our children would be able to excel. And to all our students, anything you believe, you can achieve. I was the first girl to play football. They told me no, I couldn't do it. I kept going to different teams until one person said I could, and that's y'all chief of security. He was my coach, and he allowed me to do it. I was one of the best cheerleaders, but I wanted to prove myself to be whatever it is I wanted to be. I also played semi-pro football as a female, and I decided to quit only because I got tired of paying to play. I was waiting. I wanted to be in the NFL and get paid to play. So I might be fighting for that, because we got some good women football players that should be getting paid to play football. But I'm just playing. But I'm so proud of all of y'all, and I just want y'all to know that y'all can do anything y'all want to do, and y'all can be anything that y'all want to be. And y'all live here in Pontiac, and we have a lot of people here in Pontiac that have excelled and that are superstars. And I believe that all of you guys are superstars.
Trustee Gross again.
I just wanted to say something real quick. I won't be long. I just wanted to say to our superintendent, I appreciate the fact that we put, and I'm going to say it this way, that we put the right people in the right positions. We put people in the positions such as principals and athletic directors and coaches and teachers that have a strong influence and care for our children. That makes a difference. When children don't advance, all right, or don't make progress, it's always due to adult issues. As a board member, I am just so excited and happy to be able to sit and actually see the fruits of the labor of this district. I had a conversation with several board members from various districts around Oakland County this week. One of the things we talked about is that we all in every school district have one common goal. Every school district has one common goal, and that's to provide the best education for your children. Now, what we do in between to ensure we provide that is what we do. But when you have children that come up here that are state champions and their parents have been state champions and kids who are sitting in the front row with Harvard t-shirts on. I want us to look at this. And that when we leave this meeting, when we leave here today, right, let's not forget what we've seen and heard. Because that happens. I was so elated to be part of that news article that came on, the news presentation. But most of the time when you see the news and when there's breaking news, it's always something bad. One day, let's lead breaking news with state champion Corey Thomas Jr. and Adam Pope. That's breaking news. See, people don't tune in when it ain't good news. This is great news. So I hope everyone out in TV land who's watching this continue to tune their cameras in and their phones and their laptops on the good news. Now, I guarantee you, this room should have been packed. I guarantee you if we were closing the school, it'd be packed. I've been there. And I don't want to ruin the mood because I'm so excited. You know, you guys get it, man. They call me and say, can you do this? Look, man, you don't have to. I do everything for free when it comes to these kids because I love them and I love what I do. Because now I'm able to tell people what our children have done. And that's the fruit of our labor, why we work so hard. And sometimes it ain't as hard as it appears to be. But when we have inconsistent parents, those who choose not to be part of their child's life, it becomes more and more difficult. So listen, those of you out there listening to this, all right, your child could be at that podium just like these children here. Just take a little time. Talk to your teacher. Talk to the coach. Most of all, talk to the principal. And I promise you this, you will feel as excited or even more than we are sitting at this table. And I just wanted to share that message because it's so important, because I don't want it to just stay in this room. Let's let it go throughout Pontiac. Because listen, I love Pontiac, born and raised, like Trustee Hannah said. And I'm sitting on this board because the love I have for my kids, the love I have for my school district, and the love I have for my people. So don't forget that. Children definitely will always continue to be our future. And I thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
I'm gonna save you don't know I'm sitting at a board meeting with students with Harvard t-shirts on, young men with Oakland Fort shirts on. We acknowledge theater, we've acknowledged sports, we have parents, we have individuals in the room who take care of kids who are not theirs, you know, by blood, but, you know, definitely it's theirs, right? You know, those, from sports to academics. I don't know what else, I don't know what else we need to start opening up too. We're never going to please everybody, but all we need to do is please ourselves. So I want you to take everything that every trustee said tonight, and I just want you to keep going. I just want you to keep going and know this. I promise you this. When you graduate, you will be able to come back to even more of a solid foundation that you laid. I promise you. And I'm going to share my closing comments as it relates to Pontiac School District, career pathways, career pathways, and tech education. We got our first National Honors Award for districts under 5,000 in the country for academics. Like, I know we did in the States. I know when we're doing nationals. So when you were at Harvard, we had conversations about that. It's just I can't wait to that presentation. So we're going to get to it, but you represented us well. I'll say that. And I just thank you for doing that. But if you can just ignore the small stuff, like just ignore it. If you could just set it aside, that people who don't even come visit us. They're not here. They're not here on a regular basis. They don't know what we do. They don't understand what's happening. And this ain't Oakland Ford. Y'all here all the time. Like people don't know that. So I got to give you your flowers here and let you be acknowledged now, right? And this social media is gonna go out. That whole thing. I just want y'all, Mom. I just want y'all to take this moment and live in it. And when them haters come, don't diss them. Don't diss them when you hear the negativity. And it's not being a Debbie Downer or anything like that. But when you great, it's supposed to happen this way. I want you to take that. I want you to take that with you. Because somebody's going to have something to say. And you want them to say it. But guess what? You can't beat the truth if we tell our own story. And we got more to tell. Stay tuned. I need an emotion to amend the agenda
So move.
for another great thing. And I want to put this under the consent agenda. There was a volunteer we can't give out. We was in closed session, but I need to put this under the consent agenda. And just to be open and honest, it was a volunteer. I'm not giving any names, but they had to come before the board. They had a felony. The board has to approve all of those type of request. And so I definitely want to approve it under this agenda, consent agenda. So it was moved by who?
Moved by Bowman and supported by Beck.
Okay. We still gonna keep your motion? Now y'all know what I want to do. All right. Moved by Trustee Bowman, supported by Trustee David Smith. Questions, comments, or concerns to the amendment of the agenda? Hearing none, roll call.
Treasurer David Smith.
Yes.
President Garrett.
Yes.
I'm voting yes. Trustee Hannah.
Yes.
Trustee Terry.
Yes.
VP Bowman.
Yes.
Trustee Kraft.
Yes.
Okay.
Sir, it passed 7-0 to amend the agenda.
All right. Thank you. Now can I have a motion on the floor to approve the continued agenda?
So moved.
So moved by Trustee Hannah, supported by Trustee David Smith. Questions, comments, or concerns to approve the continued agenda? Roll call, please.
President Garrett.
Yes.
I'm voting yes. Trustee Hannah.
Yes.
Trustee Terry.
Yes.
VP Bowman.
Yes.
Trustee Kraft.
Yes.
And Treasurer David Smith.
Yes.
Sir, to approve the amended agenda passed 7-0.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you, trustees, for that. Recognition of elected officials at this time. Any elected officials in the crowd? Okay. No elected officials at the time, but I do see 6 trustees. Good evening, trustees.
Good evening, sir.
Thank you. I need a motion on the floor for the consent agenda.
So move.
So moved by Trustee Bowman.
Support.
Supported by Trustee Gross. It doesn't require a discussion. Roll call, sir.
I'm voting yes. Trustee Hannah.
Yes.
Trustee Terry.
Yes.
VP Bowman.
Yes.
Trustee Kraft.
Yes.
Treasurer David Smith.
Yes.
And President Garrett.
Yes.
Sir, consent agenda passed 7-0.
Awesome. Thank you. Want to move down to the superintendent's report. Superintendent Williams, ACE Harvard presentation. And the presenters is the OU piece.
Thank you. We are so excited to recognize the accomplishments that our partnerships bring and the synergy that is going on in our district. It has been a long journey. And as all of the trustees have lifted through their comments, um, sometimes it has been a hard journey. And you will have haters, and they may say, you're not worthy and you don't have this. But I am here to tell you, you have everything that you need right here in the Pontiac School District. And you have 7 trustees, administrators, principals that care for each and every one of these students that we serve in this district, and we will go above and beyond. And those that do not want to go above and beyond, they will be removed. So please know that we are here for you, and these type of programs that we are bringing and affording our students, some are not being implemented anywhere else other than the Pontiac School District. So kudos to our OU Peace program for bringing our ACE recognition all the way to the Harvard University. And at this time, I would like to bring Dr. Shauna. Oh, well, I'm going to still give you that. Please go to the podiums, and Coco Mulder, if you could please go and present our wonderful news.
I'm wearing their shirts proudly. I know. I didn't my purple. Yes. So as you all know, I'm well.
Mike.
Oh, the mic. Oh, that's right. I have to, and I'm short, so you're gonna have to move it up. So hello everyone. I'm Shauna Boomgard. I am full-time faculty at OCC, and I'm also a co-lead with the OU Pontiac Initiative Early Childhood Education Group. I am here tonight with my colleague, almost Dr. Coco Mulder, and our wonderful panel of Pontiac High School students who, and I'm going to try not to cry tonight. We, along with Dr. Wakabayashi, who is not here tonight, she is on sabbatical at Harvard. We attended the Alumni of Color Conference at Harvard on March 3rd and 4th. Thank you all to the Board of Trustees, the School of Education at OU, Dr. Dean Marjoram Lays, also the Human Development and Child Studies program helped to fund this amazing event. And we were able to fly to Harvard. They were able to, and Angela, where are you? Where is Miss Medlock Powell? Get up here. She's the general ed social worker from Pontiac High School. Also, Mr. Montgomery has been gracious to allow us to come in and complete the work that we are doing. We are training these young people to be Michigan ACE community champions. They are our youth members. So we are very proud of them. And yes. The talk that they gave was called Phoenix Talk. We hear you sharing the authentic voices of our Pontiac youth. If I can have the next slide. This is a partnership. This is a little bit of information in the background on our mission, but I don't want to stand here and talk about all that. I want to let the kids talk. So I'm going to forward through it. In 2020, we were invited to come to the Alumni of Color Conference. This is just a quick picture. I'm going to keep forwarding. Our OU Peace Resilience Project. This is really where our heart lies. We are trying to create resilience within the Pontiac community. We train for free. We go into school districts. We go into churches, police departments. We've done so much in the community, and now we're trying to get these kids to join us. And we are so excited for them to be a part of this journey because together we can support the development of all people in the city of Pontiac. Our initiative, what we did, you can read this too, but the students attended a training, well, not a training, but they were able to have the first generation admissions team gave them a tour at Harvard. And then following that, we were able to go meet with the president. who is a former Pontiac resident. So we were able to have a nice meeting with him, and we're going to be sharing this information. So Larry, as he kept referring to himself, was amazing. I'm going to let the kids talk about this. You don't want to hear me talk about this. So we took a tour of Harvard, and then they did their presentations. And what we did was we held a panel. Next slide, that'll show. We had the students all in the front. The family that you see is Quentin's family, and Mr. Castro actually drove during the snowstorm under the thunder snow to come and see his, I'm going to start crying again, to come and see his son present and our team. And so I've got goosebumps. I can't tell you how many tears I've cried of joy. So with that being said, I think I've covered everything. So I'm going to pass it on to our children. So even though they're not young, they are amazing. We still call them our babies. So go ahead.
So what she's not saying is that they have been in training. They started this training in the spring of last year, and they took a break in the summer, and they came back in the fall. And Miss Coco did not come into any of the trainings because I do the second half of their training. Because what our goal is to have them be community champions within the school district, meaning that if they see their peers having upsets, having mental health challenges, having difficulties in the classroom, that they would be the ones to say, how can I help you get through that? So they've been being trained. And so what my part in this is that the second half of this is I'm going to prepare them to train the next generation, which is the middle schoolers, because you can have champions at all age levels. So we started with the adults, but we over the adults. So now we're working with our young people because they get it, and they get it faster than grown people. And so what they got to experience was facilitation by Coco Mulder in Harvard in real time. And so I did not look at their presentations before they got to Harvard. I didn't know their backgrounds before I got to Harvard. All I did was be the Pontiac Promo executive director, because all of these kids get scholarships from me. And so I'm a stand that they win at the end of the day. So I'm going to put them on the spot because this is what I did to them at Harvard. So I'm going to give you a question. And your question is simply, why did you choose to do this training, and what did it mean for you when you went to Harvard and you got to do your speech about why you are a MAC trainer? Because now you all are MAC trainers. Come on. Tell them your name.
Hello, my name is Savannah Taylor Banks, and I'm in 12th grade.
You're in 12th grade?
I did the presentation because I wanted to help my fellow classmates when they were doing self-harm and hurting themselves.
Hey, are you going to college?
And I got accepted to Rochester University.
Tell them who you are.
My name is Brianna Major, and I'm a senior in high school at Pontiac High. I chose to do this presentation because I want people, especially the people at our school, to know that we hear you and we see you and we're here. And if nobody's going to listen, we are. And I got accepted into Oakland University for mechanical engineering.
Hello, my name is Darian Laws Wilson. I decided to go to the Harvard trip because I know how it feels to be unheard. And I just want to give my ears out to all my peers at school. I got accepted into Washington Community College.
I got a little secret about this one. He almost had me crying at Harvard. He kept telling me he was going to do his presentation on a comic. And he's like, Miss Coco, I'm going to do it on Spider-Man. I was like, I don't know about that. I'll get, maybe when I get to Harvard, I'll figure it out, right? And so, y'all, I will never look at Peter Parker again. If you get the opportunity to see his presentation on the number of aces that Peter Parker experienced before he became Spider-Man, it is going to blow your mind. And I'm a psychologist by trade, and I'm telling you, I was in awe. And baby, he was like, I told you, Miss Gogo. Oh, now introduce yourself.
How y'all doing today? My name is Jacquees Butler. Jacquees Butler. The reason why I chose my backstory is, I wanted to help people who can't get over the past, who's dealing with trauma that's, way back, like can't let it go. And the reason I helped because, you know, one of these days it's like you're gonna have to let go, even if you don't want to, you know, even if at even if it's at your lowest moments, you know, you still got to do what you can to help, and that's what I chose to do. Oh, and I got accepted to Oakland University and Oakland Community College.
He's a little sugar shy baby. Come on, you got this. My name, who you are,
Stop. My name is Quinn Castro. I'm a junior at Pontiac High School. And I did this presentation because most people don't get the attention they want or they need, and it ends up leading to depression or suicide. Also, I got to OCC.
You know, there's no togetherness. We are all individuals today. You cannot hold your sister's hand forever.
Hello, my name is Adriana Thomas, and I am a senior at Pontiac High School. I joined the group because,
Tell the truth.
okay, Miss Angela, she always told me about these groups that she was doing. She wanted me to come down, and I went to go see. Like one day, I just guessed, and I liked it, so I just stayed, and we ended up doing all this stuff, and I'm glad because I'm glad I got the experience.
And where are you going?
I'm gonna go to cosmetology school, and I got accepted to OCC to take business classes. So in the future, I could open up a shop.
Come on, little baby. This the little sister. Come on.
My name,
Our only ninth grader.
my name is Ariel Thomas Webb, and if you want me to be honest, I only joined the group because my sister texted me and told me to.
That's what we want you to be. That's why we need you. What's your future plans? What do you plan to do when you leave?
The same thing my mom and my sister do, because that's all I really raised up to do. My mama, she a CNA, and my sister, she do hair and I do hair. So it's like, it's like in
It's
my
in your
genes.
Come on. Come on.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Right?
Yeah, and that's really it.
What was the experience for you as a ninth grader?
It was something that I didn't really want to do, but like Miss Angela, she not like pressured me to do it, but like she helped me get through it and do it so I can get it done. Yeah.
Do you appreciate going though?
Yeah.
I know you do, whether you like it or not. We have.
Is there another? I think there's another slide. Yeah. So there's that one, and then. So this was actually after they gave their presentation. We do have. I think there was another one, but I'm not sure if it loaded. There was a picture of all of the things that we did, but I don't know if it's.
So before I let you all go, I just want to acknowledge the parents. If you're a parent of anyone, or grandma or TT or brother, sister of one of these babies up here, I just want you to stand up so that we can acknowledge you all for allowing us. Yes. Yes. Number one, because you allowed us to take your babies across county, state lines. You didn't know what we was going to be doing with your babies. We just wanted to give them an opportunity to have an experience of something that they would never, ever forget in their lifetime. And in this process of them going through this, I don't know if you can even put into words what they gained. We've got to pour into our kids. This right here, we've got to pour into our kids, because a $36,000 guaranteed scholarship for every kid that lives in this district, that graduates from this district, this is just a small piece of what this gives them. That baby said, I want to go to beauty school, Miss Coco. I don't know what I want to do. And what did I tell you to do? I said, call Miss Lynn over at Michigan College of Beauty. She's waiting on you. Right? Adam Polk's baby is over at Rochester University right now with what kind of GPA? A 3.4 GPA at a private college at Rochester University. Okay? So when I say the Promise Zone is a reason in comparison with Oakland University and the Pontiac Initiative for Early Childhood Education, we start in cradle to career over here at Pontiac Collective Impact, right? We have got to pour into our children. They are going to guide the next generation into behavioral health support. Miss Angela has a hard job. I wouldn't do Angela's job. And I was in a district for a long time. I poured into babies day in and day out. And my job has shifted. Now I need to help them get to the next level. And they may not like it. They may not appreciate it, but we're giving them skills that nobody else is giving their kids in any other district. And we will start with 7. We'll start with 7 and we'll go to 17 and then we'll go to 70 and then we'll go to 700. And before you know it, everybody in this school district is now trauma informed and trauma trained. And we are not asking our kids what's wrong with them, but what's happening to them and how can we make it better for them. So Superintendent Williams, Gil Garrett, trustees, when we asked, we didn't expect a yes, but we just had to make the ask. So if you're not asking, you don't receive. You have to ask. They will support, people will support these babies day in and day out. We just have to give them the reasons why. And if this isn't reason why, I didn't hear one kid say they wasn't going to school. Did y'all hear one kid say they wasn't going to school? Doesn't matter what opportunity they take, and we're giving them to them. And so for those people who, as Mr. Gross said, who are listening, if you're a parent and you're not encouraging your kid, then we'll encourage them. If you're a teacher and you're not encouraging students in your classroom, then we'll encourage them. If you're not a principal who's encouraging young people to take a chance on themselves because they didn't have to do this, they say, okay, well, let's go check out Harvard. Did y'all learn anything from him? What did he tell y'all? His little self. What did the president tell y'all? He said, keep going because I'm from Pontiac too. He went to what? Webster. He went to Washington, and then he went to Central, and then he went to MIT, and then he became the president of Tufts, and then he told Harvard no, and then he told Harvard no again, and then he became the president of Harvard. So with that, I just want to tell y'all, thank you for taking the opportunity to listen to our babies and what they experienced. Y'all still babies. Y'all will be babies forever. And I just want to thank Angela. I want to thank Shauna for doing the hard work, which is the preparation. And Tomoko Wakabayashi, who's on sabbatical, who is probably watching us, right? She's watching. She always is watching. I just want to tell you all thank you for giving us the opportunity to take your babies across the country and have this experience. So moms and grandmas and aunties and TTs and dad, you brought your mom, you brought your siblings all the way over there. I mean, that is beautiful. That is beautiful. So hopefully next year it'll be bigger and better. We may be taking middle schoolers. But, you know, we're going to need some parents to go with us this time. So on that, I just thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job, little
Okay. Okay. We're going to start with Trustee Hannah for comments.
Okay, thank you. Coco, Shauna, and Angela, thank you so much for what you do. I know personally how much you pour into these students, and I thank you so much for the work that you do. And now our 7 students from Pontiac High, I am beyond proud. So proud of you. Your future is bright, and I really do hope that this experience lasts with you a lifetime.
Madam VP.
I just want to thank you all so much for what you're doing. The mental health piece in this community is infinitely important. And with you young people standing out front saying, I want to hear you. I want to be here for you. I want to just bridge that gap. Just the willingness to want to do it. You don't even understand the pathway that you're blazing. Thank you, because the mental health piece in this community is vastly important, and you all are setting a benchmark. Thank you so much. And for the adults that circles these babies, thank you so much for continuing to be the front face of Pontiac. So hats off to you all.
Awesome. Thank you. Trustee David Smith.
I just wanted to thank Ms. Coco, Ms. Shauna, and Ms. Angela Powell. This is a great opportunity for our students, and it's given other students to have a voice. A lot of times, like for me, I'm on this board because I'm speaking for you guys, but we need you guys to speak to us to let us know what you guys want and what you need. And there's a lot of times that you feel like you're not being heard, and so it's great that there's other people. You guys are doing that work for your peers, and I'm glad that you had the opportunity to see something different other than Pontiac, and it gives you the opportunity to want to go do other things and see other things and besides just Pontiac. So congratulations, guys, and I'm proud of you, because it is hard to speak in front of people because I'm very shy and I hate to talk in front of people.
You used to be very shy.
I'm still very shy, and I get hives to speak in front of people. So I commend you guys for being able to do that.
Thank you, ma'am. Trustee Gross.
And another important thing is not only did you go there and for academics and you're able to speak, is how you acted when you were there. We can't overlook that. But listen, I've been on college tours with Dr. Coco, so I know y'all wasn't gonna act a fool when you got there. But outside of that, am I right? But you know what? I'm proud of you and your behaviors. You've shown that no matter where you go, you still represent Pontiac well. And that's what I appreciate even more. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Trustee Kraft.
And I like to echo same thing that Trustee Gross. But like back years ago when I was about 12 years old, I went on a mini encampment for a weekend, and it's something that I'll never forget. You guys went to Harvard. You'll never forget that.
All right. Thank you. Superintendent, if we can take a board, if we could take a 10-minute recess or five, we'll make it 5 quick minute recess. I will at this time. Thank you. It's going to be a 5-minute recess. Thank you, Frank. Okay. Oh, if y'all don't want to leave, you ain't got to leave. I'm just saying, I said, yeah, I don't know who's going to, yeah. Okay, get it together. Get it together. Because you know that ain't my thing. Get it together. Heidi, get pictures. Yeah. Okay. We support
Yeah, he's right there. He's right there. Hey.
Okay, we just at the beginning. We just at the beginning. Be cool like you.
Oh, no. You always be good all our lives. That's my boy. Hey, Kenny. Hey, Kenny.
So I didn't go in.
Boy, sing like a little band. Hey, dog. That's my boy.
That's how they sit down.
Yeah, that's my dude. Yeah. Boy, you stupid. It's May 6th. What time? What
He was sick. He was sick. I get that. I do get that.
Right. Got you, my friend. It was always an honor and pleasure to see you. To see greatness.
He drove.
If we had we do. You know this guy right there? Yeah, that's my guy, man.
Good job, man.
So, fellas, one of my favorites. Nice meeting you. See you later. See you tomorrow. Right here.
I'm proud of them. I'll let her know. You'll get it like this. Put her name. It's Major, not Mayor.
Oh, okay. All right. Appreciate you. So, say 91.
All right, trustees, I'm gonna call this meeting back in order in about 60 seconds.
Bye.
At the high? Why you? I'm a, all right, y'all ready? Sure, y'all ready? I know. I just wanted to make sure I got everything there. Okay, we're gonna move down to. We finished the ACE Harvard presentation. I'm sorry, Frank. Are we all set? Okay, awesome. Thank you. Thank you for allowing us that moment to celebrate what's going on in the district, to celebrate our kids, to celebrate and then allow their parents to be a part of it. A lot of things that happen in our district, we don't get a chance, again, to tell our own story. So we made a commitment to do just that moving forward as we host regular board meetings or given any opportunity to do so, to talk about what we're doing and how we are doing it. So thank you so much. We're going to move down to the finance regular working agenda. We don't have anything under there at this meeting, but so we move down to the finance items, monthly finance report for January and February. Superintendent.
Thank you. At this time, I will turn it over to Mr. Graham. But before he gets started and before we move into his presentation and the bond presentation, this is for the community. This is why it is so important for us to get this part right. The finance piece, the bond piece, giving our students what they deserve as far as our facilities, as far as making sure the resources are reaching the classrooms. This is why if we don't get this piece right, everything else falls to the wayside. And so we are getting this piece right, which is why we're now able in the position to bring these wonderful programs and opportunities to our students, and how our students are now receiving this and making us very proud to be a community that is serving and producing productive citizens. So at this time, I'll turn it over to Jim, and thank you for all that you do.
Thank you, Superintendent, President Garrett, Vice President Bowman, Board of Trustees, and community. Tonight, we're going to go over the, that looks like the end of it, Cynthia. We're going to go over the January financials and also February. So I'll spend more time on the February. We did have a backup in these 2 months. So the month of January, next slide, please. I start out with the cash flow. And again, this number, for people in the community know, this used to be a number that was red or in negatives. And our cash flow as of the end of January is over $17 million. Next slide, please. This shows our monthly cash balances for this year and the last 3 years. And you can see the current year is in the green. You can see the incredible strides we have made in improving our cash position, which is very important. Next slide, please. This is revenues year to date for the general fund, just over $50 million in revenues and just under $4 million in January. For expenditures, just under 34 million year to date for expenditures and just under 5 million expenditures for the month of January. This is our income statement, and it shows the current year as compared to last year. And you can see we're pretty well on track where we should be in terms of this part of the year. Various categories, there are some timing issues that occur, but we are on track and are looking good for this year compared to the current amended budget. Food service fund is a separate fund from the general fund. We do have revenues that are deferred. In other words, it takes a couple months for us to get the revenues of December and January. So these numbers will improve as we continue to draw on that. But you can see our numbers year to date for our food service fund.
What is that number? I'm sorry, I can't see it.
It is
for the year to date.
Year to date, recognized revenues 1.2 million, recognized expenditures 1.4 million. But we're about a month behind in the revenues. With the timing of the federal draws. It takes a little bit longer to do the draws.
Gotcha.
For federal numbers. Sinking fund, about $6.6 million in the sinking fund. Again, that is used to supplement our bond program. And the sinking fund can also provide for repairs to help alleviate the general fund from paying those costs. This is our bond program. We're going to have a presentation on our bond coming up. You can see about $1.3 million coming in revenues, and again, that's interest earnings. And we spent just over $32 million year to date in our bond program. And as was mentioned earlier, the construction going on in the district, and you can see that physically, the work being done. And we have our TAN borrowing, our tax anticipation note. Likely, we've closed on that. We'll be borrowing that money in June. But again, previous years, we'd have to borrow money in January to make ends meet. So we're much better positioned. And then our Series 2 bond sale is scheduled for May, and that will allow additional funding for more projects on our schools. And that's it for January. I'll hop over to February. So February, obviously, we'll have next slide, please, have the January numbers plus one more month of activity. So $15.4 million cash flow balance as of the end of February. Again, you can see the charts historically for cash flow. And the reason there's two charts is this is what it looks like without the TAN this is without the TAN, and this is with the TAN. And the TAN is our borrowing to meet cash flows. So you can see that's why we're trying to identify if we don't borrow as much money, where would we be at financially? So that's why we're tracking two separate charts there. Next slide, please. Just over $50 million revenues to date. Just a little bit of revenues in February. We had our break, and a lot of stuff that we received in February was posted in March, so March will be much higher. Next slide, please. Just over $49 million expenditures year to date, and about $4.8 million $4.8 million expended in February. Again, the general fund year to date, almost 48% of revenues compared to budget. Last year, we were about 46%, so we're ahead of the game. And this year, about 47% spending. And then last year, we were 55%. But one thing to note on that, especially capital outlay is a good one. We, with ESSER dollars, that is a big impact on that. So, but we're still ahead of schedule in terms of our year-to-date percentages. Oh, I also wanted to point out, this year we're budgeting a $475,000 surplus. So it's not a huge surplus. So as we go into the next budget cycle next year, we have to be cognizant of we may have some challenges next year. Obviously, there's a lot of things we want to do, but we're not going into next year with a sizable trend surplus. Food service, I mentioned that earlier. Again, we're a little bit behind in the revenue recognition. Actually, we're not behind on it. We're waiting for the federal draws for the food service revenues. Almost all our revenues come from the food service, the federal program for free and reduced students meal program, and the spending about $1.5 million year to date. Sinking fund cash flow, not much of a change from the month before, about $6.5 million. Again, bond series programs, this increased a little bit, spending year to date for the bond program for February. And again, I mentioned these two items before. I did have one more slide. I hope it's on here. There it is. Actually, a couple slides. Every once in a while, I do like to bring in a special slide to kind of highlight where we've come financially. And this is a pretty impressive slide. Now, obviously, interest rates are higher. Everybody knows this year. But back in 2019, they were a little higher before they started to really decline. And you can see that the previous 4 years were under $100,000 in revenues for interest earnings. We anticipate this year being over $500,000 of interest earnings. Back in 2019, we had a lot more debt. We were paying a lot more interest every year. That money was not able to go into the classroom because we're paying off these bonds and this debt. You can see this debt has also decreased substantially in the last 5 years, the annual cost of our debt. Next slide, please. So the impact on those two slides is we are almost taking about $1.8 million away from potentially the classroom to do that, right? We're almost back to break even. So really the differential, I think one more slide might have it. Nope, go back, sorry. So the differential between that number and that number is a material improvement in monies that are now available for students over the last 5 years. I wanted to point that out. I thought that was interesting. I enjoy researching this stuff as much as hopefully you guys enjoy hearing it, because I know it's good information. So
it's great information.
So with that, I'd be glad to answer any questions you have.
Any questions from the board? As long as the money right, they know. They'll be like, as long as that money right. Okay, but I appreciate y'all though. We're gonna move down to bond presentation update. Mr. Graham and the ARC team, superintendent.
Yes, if the ARC team wants to come up, we'll have Juan present the first portion, I believe. And then Bruce Snyder will present the information that was shared at the board retreat to just go over again what the recommended plan was at that time.
Good evening. Superintendent Williams, President Garrett, members of the board, members of the community, good evening. So,
Good evening, sir.
haven't seen anybody in a bit. We didn't do an update last month, so good to see everybody since I think we met January 23rd. So starting out with the middle school infrastructure upgrades. Same slide we've had since last August. Really pushing to make these dates better than the August date that we have here. Still, that's the date we're committed to. We're pushing hard to get that moving forward. I know every month we talk about that electrical equipment. The mounting equipment that was scheduled for February pushed to March 6th, and now it's pushed to the end of March from the supplier on shipping. So as soon as we get that equipment, we'll be able to get the power completed so we can start up the rooftop units. I know we've talked about this in other board meetings, but at that point, then we can start up rooftop units and get things going. Right now, it's just unstable. And right now we're hearing end of March is when they're shipping that equipment. So I got my team here. We've been working on very hard on trying to update this and get this sooner, but it just seems like it keeps going the other way, but we're staying on top of it. And but good things are happening at the middle school. For next slide. That on the left is the corridor. The flooring's complete, ceilings are complete, soffits are complete, lights installed, fire alarm. Everything's pretty much there. It's like building a car waiting for the battery, right? So a lot of the finishes are done. That's also the corridor. It's kind of dark in there because we don't have lighting in there. We do have construction light. Somebody probably unplugged it during that picture, but so that's the corridors. If you go to the next slide, we got the classrooms. Wow. Beautiful, brand new floors, ceilings, lights. You can see they're pretty much complete. We're just waiting for that piece so we can actually turn the power on and get it, get rooftop units started and get everything commissioned. Okay, so that's the middle school. There's the toilet room. That might be 2 weeks outdated. I have to check, but fixtures will be starting very soon if they have not already. New tile on the walls, new flooring, brand new, beautiful spaces. So they're looking really nice. Any questions before we move on from the middle school? So we are pushing really hard for that, but the finishes are going on. I apologize. I did want the cafeteria in here as well. Those beautiful architectural soffits that you've seen in other board meetings. Those are actually in the process of being drywalled so we can then finish them. After finishing would be ceilings and then finishing the space.
Trustee Gross.
Thank you. Madam Superintendent, do we have any plans for the middle school gym and the locker room and the bathrooms there? Are we doing anything with that?
Can you speak to that?
The locker rooms, I don't think we're doing too much in there. That I will get you logistics exactly what's happening. If it's just painting in the locker rooms. What was the other space that the gym? I think the floor just got refinished. And we did paint the gym. That was not in the original. So originally in the basement documents, we did not have any painting of the gym. The gym is now painted. That was added to the
That was
project.
my main issue because
as well as the scoreboard. So we are repurposing the scoreboard from the Pontiac High School. We're getting it wrapped like how we have the vans. And so that will be at the middle school as well.
middle school as well. And
yes, because it was still very.
Nothing with the bleachers?
No.
Nothing with the bleachers. However, with the update you'll receive for Bid Pack 30, the gyms, directly with Pontiac Schools, you're getting those video display boards. And it appears you'll be getting the boards taken over to the middle school. So new scoreboards there, as well as district-wide, from my understanding, the district's getting new logos. So
Yes.
they're putting new logos with the Phoenix at the middle school as well.
No, I'm glad to hear the painting and that makes it look much better in there. And I appreciate that. Yeah, the floor is great condition, but I want to make sure that the painting and stuff was part of it. Thanks, Juan.
No problem. Sounds great.
I'm good, man.
Okay, now on to WHRC. So I think next slide. So that's the picture we showed on January 23rd. At that time, we were talking about for the February 21st update, you would see that it looked like the north wing. That is the east wing. If you look at that, that was January 23rd. We were prepared to show you on February, next slide, that was what it looked like February, end of February, prior to moving in. So furniture was a big push. The area was completed, a lot of cleanup, furniture moved. All of the teams with Marvin was there, we were there. Heck, I was pushing the floor machine. Everything was there. It was a great grand opening. So I know it was a really, really nice thing to see the students the first day. I know Mr. Gross, you were there with Mr. President Garrett. So it was really nice to see for the community and the smiles, a lot of hours put in from everybody. So it was good to see. Next slide, please. That's the outside of the infrastructure for the area L. That's the gym addition. That's actually probably about a week old. So they are starting to paint the ceiling deck. So a lot of good things happening there. Our goal is to get out of there by early May so we can get that opened up. And that's the locker rooms and the showers that is in that addition for that space. That's the auditorium. That is about 2 weeks old, that picture. So the seating in there is scheduled for April 21st. And that moved very fast with the concrete. That's new concrete. You can see where we had to do the underground electrical for the new seating. And that's the outside of the front entrance. And to the right is the cafetorium. Brand new ceiling, brand new rooftop units, new lighting. Space looks great. I think the next slide is right next door to it, which is a serving area, the servery and the kitchen. State-of-the-art kitchen, servery. Even the vendor you have in there working, he said he hasn't worked in the kitchen like this in years. It's beautiful. It's a very nice kitchen. It's the beginning. It's really throwing the rock, excuse me, in that calm water, because next is, the middle school. Right behind the middle schools by December 31st is the high school. So beautiful kitchen spaces and serving areas. Now leading into the high school. So we did, at the end of February, we were getting mid-February, some approval to pull work ahead and get some spaces. I know Chief Gross, his area, that band area, that got pushed ahead. So we were able to give contractors the new date where we were, and we have that work occurring. I believe demolition started this last week. They're really pushing forward this week. I have staff working second shift with contractors. I think Marvin, everything's for the most part has been going really good at night. So he's giving a thumbs up. That's good, because Marvin runs a tight ship when it comes to the cleanup and everything, and people have been doing a really good job. So we're working great. Second shift work is occurring as we speak. And summer construction, it starts June 19th. Completion of areas is December 31st, which the next map will show. And again, the building is off limits the 19th through August 18th for construction. Then we do have a map that we've provided that gives you dates for each area. That some areas will be done for September. You will have occupancy in September. The big push this summer is power's out, and the power upgrade is going to happen. So you have a lot of spaces in there. They'll be in the dark working on generators with temporary lighting. And next slide. And that's just some pictures. Outside the auditorium, you notice we have a construction wall where we took over that space. It is now separate from the occupied part of the building where we can now do the construction. I know early on the abatement consultant was in there with his team, with their team taking care of a lot of the work before we can get in there, as well as the chiller pipe. I think that's a newer picture. That copper pipe on the top in the tunnel is the actual chiller pipe. So a lot going on in the tunnels that you cannot see. BidPack 14 was the site upgrades that we are waiting on spring for the most of this work. The good news is it looks like the weather's turning. Frost laws still have not hit Oakland County. I'm hearing it might only be for a few days. Sometimes they last a few weeks. There's not really any frost in the ground from what I see. The roads might be a little different. However, we do have ASI, who's a Pontiac-based contractor that was awarded this contract. They did all this work. They have to top things out, but they're getting to that finally the north end where we have that temp fence that needs to be moved. It cannot be a permanent fence. They're mobilizing this week to start doing the vault with the weather change, and then that'll allow them to start cutting grades and getting that all cleaned up and get that all paved out. So I'm looking forward to that. That'd be really nice. This is the middle school and high school science lab upgrade. So the high school is actually scheduled for this summer. That is the middle school. That space, I think that's an old picture. They didn't have the center mechanical unit. I don't believe the cover's on, but that space is done. It looks beautiful. If you remember what the middle school looked like before, that is it right now. It's beautiful. All brand new. Theaters. So theaters are pretty much 99% complete. The only thing we're waiting for is the dimming system controls for the theater stage lighting. Outside of that, I know there was scope add. I know that there's been things added. Early on, there were things taken out of the project. Now that it appears they've been put back in. But right now we're just waiting on those controls. We're looking at potentially mid-April by the time we get it. We're pushing hard for that May date to make that happen. It's a beautiful space, though. I think everybody's been in there. No? All right. BidPack 25 gym floor upgrades. I know that that turned out really nice. I know you guys use it for some basketball games, so that turned out really nice. That's part one. Part two is BidPack 30, which we'll speak on shortly. BidPack 27 is right outside where all that, we had to dig that structure is about, I think it's about 20 foot deep. So it was a big hole. That is picking up all your sumps that never were really tied in properly around that gym. To the left is the electrical upgrades and some electrical components and switches. And BidPack 30, that was awarded. That's the additional gym and concessions at the high school. And awarded contracts the 13th. Started construction the 19th and completion is the 12th. So that's where we are right now. And I know by owner direct is the LED video scoreboards. And there's future projects. BidPack 31 is the WHRC doors and windows upgrades. 32, 33, and 34 are all Rogers related, from pre-purchasing electrical and mechanical equipment before construction, fire alarm pre-purchase, and then 34 is the infrastructure upgrades. And similar is 35, 36, 37, which is the same at Harrington. And there's our contingency update. Now, before I go on to the next slide, which you can, so this is what we look at as a team in AOC to make sure, we do have that 20% contingency, that we're any ads, any unknowns, and any extras that we're making sure that we're not going past our contingency. There are two other slides. I apologize. They got pushed after this, and it is the supply chain, where we are with things. I know Larry could speak on it, but I think we just heard electrical switch gear. It moved from now it's 90 weeks? It moved dramatic. Even the middle school right now, there were some measures. We were proactive. I think we talked about in the January meeting. Some of that equipment has been pushed. The equipment that we had originally for the job, however, if you remember, we found a solution to find other equipment. We still have that other equipment on order. That equipment got pushed all the way now to November. So we just had a meeting internally with leadership in Barton Mallow. Supply chain electrical it's outrageous right now. It really is. Again, it used to be, I think, 56 weeks. Now they're talking 90 weeks on some electrical equipment. So leading on to that, if you can go back to, that's community engagement. I'd like to introduce, many of you may remember Danis Mitchell with Barton Mallow, bringing her back. We did a boot camp. I know we have new board. I'll just say President Garrett, Secretary Gross, Mr. Kraft, correct? And I don't think we've met. So we basically had her in. She explained, and also Trustee Hannah. We also we went through this before, but the old board, you have not seen what we did with the boot camp with the students and what we're doing for the community. So, Danis, if you come on up, I'll let you do your thing for this next part. And Danis Mitchell's our national director, right? So her title's always changing. She's always done such a great job that it's always moving. So here you go, Danis.
Thanks, Juan. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I am Danis Mitchell. I'm a Phoenix, but not a Pontiac Phoenix. I'm a Renaissance High Phoenix. So I carry that rising from the ashes approach in everything that I do. And I just wanted to say I'm very, very proud of the students that went to Harvard. I am a Harvard Young American Leaders Program alum. So it was nothing but joy for me to see them up there with their shirts on. So thanks for switching to the next slide. So when we presented to the board initially, we had a commitment and we wanted to make good on that commitment to include local businesses as well as students and local residents of the community, because we build not just communities, but we build people as well. And we want to make sure that everyone is involved in that process. And as part of our procurement strategy, we sat down
I sit alongside our project teams. Just to give a little overview of what I do. So I oversee supplier diversity and workforce inclusion for the company. That means that I'm always looking for local and diverse businesses in any community that we're building, as well as creating those opportunities in the skilled trades for local residents to be a part of the construction piece. So as far as our contracts and our procurement strategy, we've identified a little over $1 million with local businesses. So we've started to think through, our diverse businesses. We started to think through those opportunities very early on, so about two and a half years ago, and we awarded several different bid packages. Those companies that are minority and woman-owned and veteran-owned have had the opportunity to grow their business. Now that's $1 million, that's just to date. We have several other bid packages that are coming out in the near months. So I'm working with Juan and the rest of the team to identify where those continued opportunities are for our smaller and diverse businesses. If you want to flip to the next slide for us. These are Pontiac-based businesses here. So we're almost at $10 million of local contracts awarded. The economic viability that creates within the community is something that I'm personally very proud of. When we can go out and identify contractors that are in your city and in your area to build your projects, specifically on school projects, it just makes you personally, it makes me feel a little different and a little more inspired to keep going. So that's where we are with all of the local and diverse business awards. If you want to flip to the next slide. Workforce development. So the Barton Mallow Boot Camp is a 6-week pre-apprenticeship program. We identify local residents ages 18 to 24 to work alongside our contractors to build the projects. They get that on-the-job training and that paid work experience to really find out if they're interested in the skilled trades. As we know, construction and the skilled trades is not for everyone. But we want to be able to provide and be a good steward in our industry to give those opportunities for those that we're trying to recruit into the talent pipeline. So when you think about career tech and career education, I'm actually a career tech grad as well in construction. So I see the benefits truly and how much it does benefit a young person. And I'm 20 years in now today. This is my 20-year anniversary in construction, and it started through career tech. So it brings me joy to provide a program that is very similar to the one that I went through almost 2 decades ago, but the experience that we are now able to create is a little different. So I have an in-house team that works alongside the students and the young people, not the students or the kids, they are young people, because at that point they're 18, and I want to give a level of respect that's deserved. They have the ability to go on the job sites for 2 days a week and work alongside a journey person. And on Wednesdays, we call workshop Wednesdays, they spend 4 hours in a classroom setting. And the idea is to directly mimic an apprenticeship program so that you know what you're getting into far beyond applying for an apprenticeship itself, but you have that exposure and that experience. So we are now revising our partnership and adding more sustainability to the boot camp that we're running in Pontiac. We ran our first one in 2020, I think it was 2020, 2021. And what we have identified is an additional partnership with additional local partners, so the Pontiac Collective, as well as we're going to continue working with Michigan Works in Pontiac to ensure that we're creating more of a sustainable model. So more to come on that. I won't share all of the details now because we have some things to work out internally, but there are more opportunities that are coming with this continued work in the upcoming bid packages. So I want to make sure that we provide more opportunities to our local residents. If you are interested in gaining some knowledge and some exposure in the skilled trades, please make sure you go to bmctradecareers.com or contact your local Pontiac Works. Contact Chanel Shelby, and she can get you connected directly with the Barton Mallow Boot Camp. Are there any questions? Thank you.
Any comments from the board? Okay, thank you.
Anything for me or any other questions?
Any other questions?
Great, thank you.
Appreciate it.
There's the slides as well, construction schedule. I apologize. They were supposed to be before, and then the other ones, the lead time changes. So, and now handing to Bruce with IDS.
Can I ask one question, President?
Sure, go ahead.
with the 90-week new lead time for the electrical, so that is that pushing the middle school back even further?
No, all that equipment's been ordered.
Okay,
Mhm.
so we're not a part of that. We're
Some of that equipment now says November, but
Okay.
if you recall, maybe about a month and a half, 2 months ago, there was the team put together.
Yes.
Were we able to find some equipment to
Yes.
order and get sooner? If we did not do that, that other equipment was pushing all the way to November at this point.
Okay.
So the middle school, that's not really having an effect. The reason why we're doing pre-purchasing on Harrington and Rogers
Perfect.
is because of
Because
these,
that lead
you
time.
know,
Okay,
exactly.
that's perfect. Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Juan. Thanks, Dennis. Good evening, Board of Trustees, President
evening.
Garrett, Superintendent Williams. Before I get started, I'll just mention, as the Harvard students were up here, and Brianna, I think her name was, said she was going to be studying mechanical engineering at OU. My ears perked up because we're always looking to sponsor young people going into the technical field, architects or engineering. So we do have a scholarship for her, and I'll touch base with you on that. The other thing is where Corey and Adam were up here accepting their awards for state champion. A few years ago, as we walked through the high school locker room, we were informed that we got through the varsity area, the JV area, and they said, here's the wrestling area. And they said, make sure, don't shortchange these guys. These guys, this is a long history program, and they got state champion guys and everything. So we made sure, we said, yep, no problem. So we gave them their own area, nice locker rooms. Not every high school has a dedicated area for wrestlers, but anyway, we paid close attention. I think they got pretty nice setup over there. So that's part of the high school renovation. But anyway, I'll get into, if you want to flip the slides, we'll get into we'll touch base on what we talked about at the board retreat in December. And anytime for this Board of Trustees, I know there's a few new ones on there. The original bond application was set up to have 3 series, and that was converted over to really 2 series. I think Jim floated a series 1, and we swept everything else into really what we're calling series 2, but it's 2-3 on the bond application. So that's why sometimes you'll see that slash. If you want to go to the next, yep. So this is a slide that we've put together, or this is actually it's a working document that we put together that is a planning document, and it's meant to be interactive. And so it lists everything that is either deferred from Series 1 or that we had already planned for Series 2. And it's all listed. There are several pages of these. And there's another document, it's a scheduled document, and we've committed at AOC to not undertake more construction projects than we can handle and the district can handle, because sometimes we bite off more than we can chew, and it creates issues. And so we're committed to spacing everything out, and along with John and Barton Mallow and Jim and the whole AEC group, or AOC group is what we call it, we put together a construction plan that we've identified the different major renovations in a sequence that will work from a funding standpoint and a sequential standpoint. And the 2 things that we brought to this board in December was, we said, in order for us to continue, now that we're in the high school and the middle school WHRC, we've released all the documents, they're being bid out, they're being constructed, you can see some of the progress that's going on. We said, what's next? And we had recommended Rogers and Harrington. The board looked at it and said, they made a few tweaks, and we've implemented the recommendations that they made, which was, we're instructed to add back in the 5% contingency to match up with Series 1. And then with Rogers, go ahead and make sure you get the addition on there so that we can get rid of the portables. We want the windows and doors in there. We want the technology in there, and we want some modifications to the entrances. So we've included all that, and those are in design right now. They will be going out for bid. Documents turned over to Barton Malow in the fall for construction in summer of 2024. Additionally, in that was the windows for WHRC. Excuse me. So that's what's in process right now. So again, that all comes from this document right here, which is the remaining deferred projects from Series 1, and you're just looking at one, but every building is on there and it has a total. So the numbers in bold are AOC had to make tough decisions, and we did highlight and move over those things that we wanted to be sure to be included in this, but it's still tight on budget to get us through this Series 2. You know, we're somewhere between $3 million and $9 million shy, and we talked about at the conclusion of Series 2, maybe there's a whole building that gets deferred to either a future bond, the next bond, something that Jim has already looked into for 2026, or funding wise, or, you know, then we just have to, as we work our way through Series 2, we collectively have to, the AOC will have to take recommendations to the board, and you guys will have to make decisions on which ones you want to move forward on. So that's just kind of an update as to where we are on this. Any questions?
All right, thank you. Any questions?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
All right, thank you.
Just a couple clarifications. We did want you to have this because I know this, Bruce did present this verbatim in December. So wanted to make sure you had it, a hard copy of this. We weren't sure if you had it in December. We had actually presented it in person. So that's one of the reasons we included all this in there. And it is verbatim on what was presented in December. So every school, you can see Alcott's kind of small writing, but every school is in here. And as Bruce said, the recommendation from us, again, hard decisions, and it wasn't just a recommendation, was everything bolded would be included in the scope, and the items that were not bolded would need to be deferred or if other funding became available. Bruce is correct that we put everything in, all these dollars, the last column says Series 2. We are going to actually have a third series funding. So there will be a line at some point, and that's going to be 2025, probably May of 2025, the last 23 million. So there will be a line at some point where, you know, we kind of stop between the rest of the buildings, and some buildings will go into the third series and some will stay in the second series. As far as the state's concerned, it's kind of all one big program, but since it's funded in three little chunks, we kind of have to keep it somewhat separated in terms of the financing of it and funding of it. So as Bruce also said, we did not want to change this because we wanted to show you exactly what you saw in December. But it's about this was about a $3 million shortfall. We talked about quite a bit at the retreat. Increasing from 15% to 20% contingency is about a $3 million increase. Now, of course, we don't spend that, which we hope we don't spend that, then that is not a real increase. And then it was just under $3 million for the addition for Rogers, and then we had a few more areas of like secured entrances that were more a minor cost. So I believe the superintendent asked this to be continued to be put in front of you every month. So the next time you see that, we will include those other items that you had directed us to change this for. But I didn't want to confuse things by showing you something different than you saw in December. So that's why this is that document. So thank you.
All right, thank you. Any questions from the board? Okay. Seeing none, thank you for the presentation, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. We're going to move down to operation and maintenance. We're going to go to discussion. I think there's a couple action items behind that, but new PHS weight room equipment. Superintendent.
Thank you. This is another benefit and added addition to our bond projects for our weight room, which is very outdated and very much needed at the Pontiac High School. One thing that President Garrett and I have been speaking on is how we can allow our staff members to take advantage once this area is renovated for health and wellness purposes. We did have a partnership with St. Joe's many years ago to allow that opportunity for our staff and administration. And now we will be able to have this in our own house. So we're excited. Another great project that's coming down the pipeline. And I'll turn it over to Mr. England.
Thank you, Superintendent. Welcome, everybody. Robert England, Facilities Director. As the superintendent did mention that this is something that we've been working on quite a while. I want to thank the athletic director. He has picked out some wonderful equipment. This renovation that will also take place this summer is a full renovation in there. We will be doing, if you've not been in there, both exterior doors going into the hallway, going back to the locker room, all of the cork flooring, all of this weight equipment that we're asking for tonight, the drop ceiling, the walls that have the pads on it, all of that stuff will be retrofitted. So there's 2 univents that are currently in there. Those univents are going to be air conditioned. So there'll be new chiller systems in there. So this will be a climate controlled area for both that room and the wrestling room. There's some very extensive renovations that are going on in there with lighting. We've already done the floor in a previous area, but this is going to be very nice enhancements with climate control. With that said, tonight we are asking for discussion and action for the athletic department has received 3 quotes for Pontiac High School weight room equipment. The current weight room equipment is over 30 years old. Most of the lowest weight that we have in there is a 35-pound bell, which is almost too much for even to hand me down to the middle school. We are going to repurpose that. Right now, we're, if you've been over in the high school in the last few days, we've renovated the old racket court areas to put this equipment in. We got some temporary lighting before we switch to LED lighting. That will be the area that will have these weights, because this weight system has about 8 weeks. So talking with the AD today and Friday, there's a little bit of time for this equipment to come in. We wanted to make sure that the football team had an area to come in to work out. Again, Pontiac, the proposed equipment suits the needs of the Pontiac High School students and will also be branded with a Pontiac High School Phoenix. You should see some renderings in the package that you have there of some of the equipment. And then it lists some of the bidders that can bid on this. So our recommendation is using Fort Fitness in the amount of $56,320.64. We would like to move forward with this purchase, again, knowing that there's an 8-week delay on getting it. And the other 3 quotes are attached.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions from the board? Trustee Gross.
Thank you. I want to give kudos to our AD, our superintendent, and our board president who saw the necessity in this. I was part of the team. We went over to look at the scoreboard. We also had the opportunity to take a look at other schools with myself. That's right. Other schools' weight rooms. And with this new equipment for our children, right? It puts us now more in advantage instead of disadvantage. So our kids will not only, I mean, it's more up to date. Way back in the day when me and Troy and Marvin was at Pontiac Central, and wow. And you see, I'm not in that good a shape now. So, but if I had this equipment back then, but I appreciate you presenting this, and thank you for seeing the future of what's needed for our student athletes. And this is a great opportunity, and you found the space.
Yes.
We talked about that. And you found the space. Thank you.
Thank you.
Trustee Kraft.
That room is where champions are born and built. And, you know, to start, and that's where you start with your sports and with the conditioning and things like that, the weight training. I think, and I applaud you. We're moving forward in our athletic department. I'm really impressed in these last 2 months since I've been here and everything. All the progress is going back. We're investing back in our kids. And you will see the benefits after this. You will see it because they're getting the thing, and we're putting them on an even playing field. And that's all. Give our babies a chance, a fighting chance. Put them on an even playing field. Let them have what other districts have. And I applaud you, Sue.
Thank you.
All right. Any other comments? Trustee Terry.
So I just wanted to be clear. This would be also available for the staff.
Yes, when available, we will open it up for staff to utilize for the health and wellness portion of our district. We do the wellness Wednesdays, and so we will have to come up with the schedule to make sure that it's not interfering with the athletic side or
Schedule.
department.
Okay. And then as far as the finance part, budget wise, I know the numbers on there. I know it's a lot of numbers. What specific account is that one from?
Jim, can you give that information?
Yes, we have an FF&E, which is furniture, fixtures, and equipment for each school in the bond. So that's the FF&E account for the high school.
Okay. So that one's specifically just for the high school though?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there's money throughout. That's where we purchase all the furniture for the classrooms for elementary, middle school, high school. That's where we purchased band equipment. So that all is in there, art equipment, all that stuff. So.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Any other comments? Okay. All right. Thank you. I appreciate you. We're going to move down to PH door cores for the PHS door replacement project. Mr. England, you still have the floor. Super, if I may. Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank
Mr.
you,
England.
sir. Part of the bond project has over 700 interior doors that are going to be changed out. These are the cores that go in there. These are something that we do not like to let our vendors have access to. We have a separate contract with Scott's Lock in this behalf that we went out for bid for quotes for 3 different companies for the core portion of our lock. We're also switching to what we call a 7-pin lock. It's a more secure lock. So they are very hard to be duplicated. In case somebody ever does get a key, it's very difficult for them to go somewhere and get that key made. To make a long story short, the district did receive quotes from 3 different vendors for the Pontiac High School door replacement project. The district is recommended that we purchase the locks from Scott's Lock. The price is higher than the Raven and IDN because the quote for Scott's Locks includes the pinning of each core. This is a process that takes about 45 minutes per lock, and they gave us some really good pricing. Our lead guys can't even do it that fast. So if you can imagine that times 700 to 900 locks, it takes quite a while to get that done. We would still like to have the additional charge from each vendor for the pin and coring, along with the additional cost for the pinning chart and keys. This also does include a master key. It also does include 4 extra keys that we keep in our offices. So IDN and Raven also doubled their price of just the cores, where Scott's Lock only charges for their core price. Typically, we would consider this an incomplete bid with the other 2 vendors, and thus the reason we're asking to go for the higher bidder, because it's a complete bid, including the repinning of those cores. So excuse me, sir, I'm sorry. So the recommendation for us is, again, this is part of the bond project. Those 420 numbers are bond numbers. That's how this is being paid for. Our recommendation for the award to Scott's Lock in the amount of $338,212.50. And again, this is scheduled for the summer redooring project.
Thank you.
Any questions that I can answer about the locks in particular?
38,000, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
38,000.
He said 300 and some thousand.
I apologize.
I mean, don't act like I was the only one that heard it. You know what I mean? So I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
We're going to move down to action item approval of the new Pontiac High School weight room equipment. Need a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Support.
So moved by Trustee Hannah, supported by the Vice President Bowman. Questions, comments, or concerns? Roll call.
Trustee Hannah.
Yes.
Trustee Terry.
Yes.
VP Bowman.
Yes.
Trustee Kraft.
Yes.
Treasurer Davis Smith.
Yes.
President Garrett.
Yes.
And I'm voting yes. Sir, that passed 7-0.
Awesome. Thank you. Going to move down to approval of Pontiac High School door cores for the Pontiac High School door replacement project. Need a motion on the floor, please.
So move.
Support.
So moved by Trustee Bowman, supported by Trustee Hannah. Questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Terry,
Yes.
VP Bowman,
Yes.
Trustee Kraft,
Yes.
Treasurer David Smith,
Yes.
President Garrett.
Yes.
I'm voting yes, and Trustee Hannah.
Yes.
Sir, that passed 7-0.
All right, awesome. Thank you. We're going to move down to communications, petitions, and delegations. I'll turn the meeting over now to Madam Vice President.
All righty. We have one. Your request to address the Pontiac Board of Education for 3 minutes is granted with your commitment that all comments will be delivered with courtesy and civility. Failure to do so will result in forfeiture of your allotted time. Chandrika Simmons.
Good evening, ma'am. Welcome to the meeting.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Chandrika Simmons. I am the parent of 2 Pontiac students, Sikora Simmons and Solandra Simmons. She's in the 8th grade. And also the parent of Shatoria Simmons, who is a graduate of Pontiac High School. And she's a fashion designer. So I just want to say Pontiac does great things. I just had attached to my request to speak, I put down what it is I want to speak about. Don't want to.
I'm sorry. Could you pause our time for a second? So did you need that?
No, sir, I have it.
Oh, okay. All right.
No, sir, I have it.
Okay.
Thank
you.
I don't want to bring anything negative, so I want to let the board know and the superintendent know that my number 3, I have already addressed with the facilities director. He said he's taking care of that.
Okay.
And another issue that wasn't on there, but it was the handicap access issue at Pontiac High, and I spoke with the facilities director regarding that as well, and he's handling that as well.
Okay.
I should have told him about the number 1. Did he leave yet?
I'm gonna grant her 10 more seconds. Can you pause that? I'm sorry. Thank you.
So now he knows about
Okay.
number 1 too.
Gotcha. All right.
Okay, so the other is I came about 3-4 years ago about alternative for food for the kids at ITA, my baby being one of those that she has alternative diet. And at the time, President McGinnis made sure that there was a microwave at ITA. Since they've been gone out the building for whatever, the microwave walked away. And so we need another microwave at ITA. I don't know what happened with that. The other is my kids both play sports. And so I would like to, and I'm busy, just like every other parent in this district, we all work, whether we work at home or work outside of the home. And I need notice of schedules for sports. I don't think that's too much to ask. I would prefer that I got it through the Parent Connect. There's a scheduling component inside of Parenting Connect. So it can be on my schedule so I know where these events are for volleyball, basketball, and I would like to go to wrestling and stuff too. I saw these kids, I want to be there too. I like to,
Gotcha.
I want to be put out for yelling too high. Yeah, so if you could do something about that we get it in a timely fashion of when these sports are taking place and the actual schedule. And I don't understand why we are continuing to play the same people all the time. I asked a couple years back, I don't know why we don't play the kids from Southfield. I don't know why we don't play kids from Detroit. I don't know why we don't play kids from Flint. Oxford is, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Gross can answer that. He's better to answer that.
Okay.
That whole referee Kraft will talk to you right after the meeting.
Okay.
Not my area. We'll explain it to you. Yeah, it's a reason why.
Okay. Just and I'm don't want to be imposing anything on the board, but if there's number 5, can I speak real quickly? Will you give me a chance to speak real quick for my number 5, President Garrett?
Okay. If that's no question or no issue with the board. Okay. Go ahead, man.
Okay, number 5 is about my kid, and I say my kid. My daughter Sikora got into a bunch of colleges. I just gave President Garrett and superintendent a list of all the colleges she got into. I want Pontiac to adopt a philosophy of essay workshops and steer these kids away from ACT, and SAT. If you do your research regarding it, you'll know why I'm saying that. And there are plenty of good schools, great schools, that do not require SAT and ACT scores. And it is a hindrance to our kids to push them towards something that they're absolutely failing at because the test was not designed for them. That's pretty much it. I will come back at a later time where I won't be bothering anybody else regarding my list. Thank you.
Appreciate you. Thank you for coming, and you confirmed a few things, and I'll put that in my closing comments, in which we're at closing comments. They looking at me. Trustee Kraft. No. I got no. Trustee Terry, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna keep it short. Very good meeting again tonight. Congratulations to all of our Pontiac students, and congratulations to our parents as well and the staff supporting everyone and taking us to those limits that we're used to seeing. I'll put it like that through our history here in Pontiac. In addition to that, let's continue to make Pontiac great. Let's continue to stay on the right track. We got a good team. We kind of work as a mesh like a family. So don't be scared to bring something to us. If we don't know, we can't support, we don't know how to react. But if we're going to work together, let's continue to keep those lines of communications open. It's awesome to have the students that came through, that went on the trip, educational. Let's continue to happen with those things, our partnerships. Let's continue to grow those as we are in Pontiac. So once again, a very great meeting. Finances is always good for me to hear. So let's continue that strive too. And thank you.
All right. Thank you. Trustee Hannah. Good evening.
Good evening. I think I said pretty much everything earlier in my comments, but I just want to reiterate how it is so important that we tell our story. Like we said, we hear so much of all the negative things that are happening or that has happened within our district, but it is time that we continue to talk about all the great things that are happening within our districts. We tell our students who they are. When they continue to hear from the community of how negative things are or how bad the school district is, then they believe it. So what happens when we tell them how awesome the district is? Not perfect, but how awesome the district is, the opportunities that we have here in this district. And those are the things that we need to consistently do to remind our students that they can succeed and that they are important, that they are talented, just as well as we have to remind our community of that same thing. So I was very pleased with everything from tonight, and I hope we continue to move in this direction so that the community is aware of the positive things that we are doing within the Pontiac School District.
Awesome. Thank you, ma'am. Trustee Davis Smith. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. So we did say mostly everything that we needed to say earlier, but I can't help but reiterate we need parent participation. My youngest son, for instance, he was deemed to have had a learning disability when he was in elementary. Dr. Powell got with him, and she was teaching him for a few weeks, as well as me still helping him at home. And Jerry was able to turn his school career around, where he had he was always on the honor roll. He was a great athlete. He played basketball, football, track. He even wrestled in middle school, but wrestling is very hard. So that was the only sport he played that put him to sleep. So he actually got a academic scholarship to Rochester College, but because adults in our community was telling him you didn't get you didn't receive a good education, a quality education from the Pontiac School District, my son believed it. And I didn't understand why he was afraid to go away to college until he expressed that to me. So like Trustee Hannah just said, is what you put into your kids. I didn't pressure my son to go to college. I wanted to see what he wanted to do, because college isn't for everyone. So I thought maybe he wanted to do something else in his life. And one day he woke up and asked me for my information for FAFSA. And so I gave it to him. And now Jerry is a tutor for calculus. And he didn't get math from mommy because mommy is not good. I'm great at English, but not math. So I just want to say parent participation, even in sports, like I'm auntie to so many kids. Half of them, I don't know their name, but I know their face. But it's because I'm a presence in their games, their sports. We need to support our kids, whether they're, because I don't have any children here anymore, but I still will go to events just so that the kids can see my face and see that I'm cheering them on. They need that because, again, like a parent just said, there's parents that's working, and it's parents that's doing other things and can't make it to those events. But I remember as a kid, my mom was one of those parents who worked 3 jobs to take care of us. So I was walking home in the dark with my band instrument. I was running track and looking the stands. My mom wasn't there, but my godmother was there, Katisha and Kaniqua, which y'all call Miss Coco. Her mom was there to support me. And to this day, she still supports me. And I needed people like that in my life. And our kids need people like that in our life. We need to be a presence in these kids' lives, no matter who you are, whether you're their neighbor or whatever. We need you guys to participate in our district with our students. Have a good night. Be safe, everybody.
I ain't gonna even do it to you, VP. I ain't gonna do that to you. Not this week. I got you. Thank you, Trustee David Smith. Mr. Gross. Yes, sir.
This is the first time I can say, man, you got me following that.
Yeah. Yeah. If y'all been with us for a while through this growth that we've been on right now, like the kids ain't been the only one growing. That right there,
woo,
that's all blessing.
Wonderful.
That is all work. That is all dedication. That is all 110%. You are not going to outwork that woman sitting right there.
That's right.
And she didn't start just by herself. She just started with herself and understanding what her purpose and cause was for this board. And when go ahead. I'm sorry.
You okay? I like that. What you're saying is the truth. And she went from yes and no to reading a novel. But I love her to death. I love her to death. I did my preaching earlier and I sent my message out already. So now I just have a few announcements and a couple things. I actually attended on the 15th last week. I attended the Oakland Schools dinner on the future of transportation. And I thought I was a superstar that night because the future of transportation is electric buses. And who was the first school district to receive the immense amount of monies for school buses? Only one in the county, Pontiac. And we were recognized. And I almost didn't go, President Garrett. I told my wife, I'm feeling a little sick tonight. She said, look, Shaquana goes to everything. Gil goes to everything. You need to start going to everything.
Thank you, ma'am.
And so I went. And then I called the superintendent and told her how much fun I had. And they tracked me down. There were those who were envious of us, but there were those who were so jealous and proud that we actually received the monies for electric buses. So we were a hit last Wednesday night. I also had the opportunity to visit the school, which I hadn't done in a while, and I was told that I need to do so, and I did. I had the most fun I ever did in my life in the schools. I was at the high school. And I was actually in the hallway during the times the kids were changing classes and to see the principal and the assistant principal, the athletic director and staff telling the kids, all right, you got a minute to the bell, 30 seconds, let's go. And how the kids respond. It was so nice, pleasant, and they spoke to me. And it was just a great time being able to see the kids in their natural environment how well they're doing. And I love a well-behaved kid. And man, I was there for 2 hours and it was fantastic. And I enjoyed myself. So now I also have an announcement here. I am part of, and I was invited to speak by Mr. Montgomery to the first PHS annual Dads Doing Their Duties. That's happening on May the 6th, which is a Saturday, from 10 to 3 p.m. Calling all dads, male guardians, mentors, pastors, community partners. He says, we need you all. So you can go to the school and get this flyer and sign up. Man, there's so many activities. Title I information, father and son basketball, 3-point contest, 3-on-3, tying, right? I'm speaking board members as well as fraternities. So I'm speaking two sides there. So it's going to be a fun day, food there for you, and we're just going to have a good time, and we're going to make this annual, and we want all dads. I don't care. Stepdads, you still a dad, right? Uncle, dad, everybody, come on out on May 6th, and we'll continue to pass this message on to everybody. Now, I also had the opportunity we recognize young Pope today, Adam Jr., but I also had the opportunity, I met with him not too long ago, son Julius Polk, who's a graduate who received a 4-year scholarship. He is now a freshman at Rochester College. And talking with him and his mom, he was named the freshman wrestler of the year. And he carries a 3.4 GPA, and he is wrestling. So this young man is doing big things, and I told him I would recognize him tonight. I think that's it, Mr. President. Oh, I will be reading at the, you guys have been doing so, I'll be reading at the Owen Kennedy School on Thursday morning in Miss Campbell's class. I was invited to come, so I'll be sitting there with the young people and use my announcing voice to get the kids excited and have fun reading to them. I truly love and enjoy doing that. And you know what? I'm glad to be a board member. No, let me state that. I'm glad to be a Pontiac School District board member. I love it, and I thank you. And let's keep doing what we're doing, okay? And remember, we should always allow the kids to have fun, okay? Remember that, never forget. Because right here, this table here, I'm having a good time. I'm having fun. Appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Madam VP, I want to go out of order, so I'm going to have you go right now, if you may. All right, I appreciate you. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. This was a fantastic meeting, and I just want the community to know that this board is working. This board, this community, all of us, we are working hard for you, and we have not forgotten our promise. Yes, we said that we want to make sure that we provide a pool for this community. It's just holding out a little bit because we can't justify doing certain renovations if your kids are coming to school and they're cold and they don't have certain things. So it's not that it's not coming, it's just on pause a little bit because we can't justify certain things. And we said we have a pool, but your kids are cold and they don't have heat and the proper things that they need for a building to run properly. So that has not been forgotten, and we are holding up our commitments to this community. Every single school, as you all see, we present out often, we are doing something in this district. We want to make the positive change and the positive strides to move our community forward, but we can't do it backwards. So I'm just glad to continue to be a part of this administration, continue to move this community forward, and to continue to be a part of the discussion. So congratulations to all of the young people that were here today and the strides moving forward. And congratulations and thank you to all of the family, friends, community members, everyone who helped these young people be and stand in the light that they stand in today. I'm proud to be a resident of Pontiac. I'm proud to sit on this board. And I just want to say to all of my board members and my superintendent and your entire cabinet, everyone who works for this district. Thank you for continuing to push the needle forward in every facet. Good night.
Typically, as the chair, of course, I'm always the last one to speak. But I wanted to give that honor to Trustee Kraft, so I'm gonna do my. I wanted to give that honor to Trustee Kraft because he kept his word, and not that I doubt that he would. But if you've been around this board long enough, this district long enough, what you seeing right now is something that you always thought you should have seen 20, 15, 10 years ago. And we didn't have it. And it wasn't until we kind of buckled down to be who we are, and get people who were committed and not going to the next step, but wanted to be here and make sure that our kids get their next step. And so we here and we have that. It's hard. It's hard to take people serious who don't take us serious, right? Like the examples of students that come before us, and even those who didn't come before us, the parents that here who are supporting their kids. And again, it's not everybody in the school, Pontiac City, it's not all the parents. It's some that may just don't know how, and we have to reach them. But there are parents here who always have and will continue to support their kids and other kids. That is the Pontiac community. It's very frustrating sometimes that when I hear people who are from Pontiac, born and raised, they'll get up and say, "Oh, there's nothing to do here." And they get mad at me when I tell them, "You don't get out enough, or you don't see what's around you, or what's here, and you're not involved." And all of the hearing just graduates of what they're doing and what their siblings are doing now. Mrs. Simmons kids, like, it's not, and it's not because I know them. It's just the fact of just if they put into their children. We're not getting around that. You cannot allow somebody else to raise your kids and think that it's going to be okay. And I'm not saying that is majority of the parents. It's a few. And it's okay if you come from the school of hard knocks or you didn't have what you didn't have and those things of that nature. But if you apply yourself in every aspect of what you believe you can do, there's help for you here in the city of Pontiac. I don't care. I service humanity. That's my job. As a police officer, I service humanity. But I do it best here in the city of Pontiac. And so when you start hearing these policies coming through, holding parents more accountable to being in the lives of their students, you're going to come down to that podium. And as you get personal, I just want to put this out. I'm going to guarantee you that I'm going to tell you about yourself. Because at the end of the day, you have to do what's best interest of your students that's in your home, and coming down here yelling is not going to be that's not going to be the answer. I watched and navigate a parent who had a concern, who put in a comment and navigate a room and getting her concerns addressed, and still telling us what we need to do in a very professional manner. That's the standard. I'm gonna take that clip and I'm gonna put it on my phone. And when somebody get to yelling, I'm gonna say, "What are you doing? X, Y, Z." Models. And I'm serious about that, man. To the last point, I push this board over. I know I do. But y'all keep giving, and y'all keep putting out, and y'all keep producing. And we have a superintendent that did not give up on us in the midst of when she could have. Administration that didn't fall back. An administrator who said, "I'm going to come back." Those are the things that I'm going to continue to keep uplifting. We're going to have those individuals in our community that just don't think it's fair. But we have to show them that it is. That is our responsibility. But I'm not going to tolerate somebody coming down here and side threatening us on the side because they feel a certain kind of way. Come down here and help figure out which way and which student that you can help. I didn't count it. If we didn't count it, 10 students just in this room and night alone. I'm about to add up these numbers though. That's how I was looking. I got 8 pages. That's just one student. I got 8 pages. That's the standard for me. I hope that's the standard for you as individual trustees, which I know that it is. I hope that's the standard for the people who go in front of our kids. Now I'm going to yield to Trustee Kraft and I'm going to let you close. I thought he was. Oh, okay. But that's okay. I do want to thank IDS and Barton Marlowe for my hat. And if you do see me in and around with it, wearing it on, take pictures because I guarantee you I plan on wearing it, right? I can't do nothing with a hammer and a nail. But I tell you what, I'm going to look like I can when I got this vest on. Oh, y'all really showing out today, huh? I didn't even open this up. Great things happen. I'm not about to do this with y'all today. Right. I think we should, I don't know if we can get these on a plane. This counts as a package one to go to Florida, right? But we'll talk a bit more. But Trustee Kraft, thank you so much. And would you do us the honor with your closing comments as our newly certified board member who just finished his 101 to 109 classes, which will continue to make us an honor board going into 2024, 2025. Thank you, sir, and I appreciate your efforts for that. And I turn the meeting over to you, Troy Kraft.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank our best president who pushed me. He's like a coach. He put the incentive out there. I made it here in January, okay? And he said, hey, look, you want to go to Florida but get these classes done. I thought about Michigan cold weather, and I thought about the sunshine in Florida, and it was an easy choice. Okay. And I would like to also go back on and congratulate everybody that we congratulated earlier, from the athletes to the Harvard students, and then to the gentleman that reached out and said, well, hey, we got scholarship
Mr. Bruce.
for the young lady that was talking about the engineering. So, hey, you know, that's I give you the thumbs up with that. And I'd like to also thank the people who stayed, because normally at this time of the meeting and everything, you only got 1 or 2 people here. So we have some diehards here. And I really appreciate that. And I want to go on a couple things. I was walking up into Harrington School because my kids go to Harrington School. I have 2 small ones. And they go to Harrington School. And I saw a young man, maybe up to 5th grader, or however it was, walking to the school. And it was real cold, walking up to the school and everything, and it's real cold. And I said, oh, man, where your coat at? And he said, oh, it's ripped. It's ripped. I don't have one. Now, it's cold, and I'm cold, and I have mine on. And I want to give a shout out to Miss Thomas, because ask not, have not. Okay, so I went up to Miss Thomas, and I was like, Miss Thomas, do we have a coat for this young man? However, I pulled it to the side. She went right into the closet and got this boy a brand new coat. So these are the things that happen. We care about our babies here. And that was also the same day that I read Green Eggs and Ham to the 1st graders. And I got a kick out of it. It's on video on my Facebook page and everything, but I turned into Sam I Am, from the book and everything. I think I enjoyed it more than they did, but the kids laughed. It was a wonderful experience. And, a year ago at this time, I didn't envision myself being here at this table. I'm fooling around with sports, doing all this other little thing. But, sometimes God tapped you on the shoulder and say, hey, your calling is over there. And, I was across the parking lot working over at City Hall for our previous mayor and different things like that. But however it is, I had to come back on over here. And I really love where I'm at. And I believe I'm going to stay here for a long while.
All right. All right. I appreciate it. Need a motion on the floor to adjourn.
So moved.
Support.
That was a little
Smith
weird.
and, yeah,
That was a
you
little
gotta pick
different.
between
Okay. Moved by trustee Davis, supported by trustee Bowman. Questions, comments, or concerns to the adjournment? Hearing none, roll call, please.
PP Bowman,
Yes.
trustee Kraft,
Yes.
treasurer David Smith,
Yes.
President Garrett.
Yes.
I'm voting yes, trustee Hannah
Yes.
and trustee Terry.
Yes.
Sir, pass, and your time is?
8:48.
Thank you.